Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you. Welcome to the Global School Alliance conference for February. And it's great to see so many familiar faces and some new ones. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to wait a few seconds and let everybody join. I think there's still some people connecting from the waiting room. You definitely need your sound and your vision on for today. Some great things to hear and see. A few more people in the waiting room. Great to see everybody. I'm going to wait 2 more minutes and then I'll get going. Still a few people to join us. Don't forget to say hi in the chat. Excellent. Great to see everybody. We still have people in the waiting room, I think, Hannah, yeah? Maybe they're just having a few issues connecting. Okay, I'm going to get going because we've got such a great content and great speakers to listen to today that I want to get started. So February's conference is all about the power of languages and its role in cultural understanding. You're going to have a quick blurb by me as usual, and then we've got some amazing speakers, Bushra, Anna, Isa and Sylvia coming up, and a question and answer session. We're looking forward to that. So our usual introduction to us as the Global School Alliance, for those of you who aren't members, you should be. And it's an amazing community to be part of. I recommend just connecting and meeting some of the fabulous educators that we've got part of our community. The whole aim of the Global School Alliance is to enable and facilitate connections, to learn about each other's cultures, to share language, basically to improve outcomes for students. Our aims are to create global citizens, to help prepare students of today for a global society that they're going to be part of when they leave school. So that is our whole aim, and we have some wonderful inspirational members and educators that are so happy to share, like our speakers from today. Again, it's free to join, so come along. The more the merrier, the more people that are involved and sharing best practice, the bigger voice we've got to change the world, to change people's aspects and people's views on each other's culture. We should get it out there as much as we possibly can. So encourage all your colleagues to join us. As I say, it's a free community. We have some great opportunities to connect. We have a platform. We have our LinkedIn and Facebook pages as well, but we have a platform which you can register on with an email address. There's a news feed there so you can connect with all the other members to say hi, be kept up to date with our exciting events like this conference. We run competitions, we run different ways to engage. There's a projects forum you can have a look on. There are other bigger projects you can join. We have some amazing blogs and articles and resources that are shared by our amazing educators too. So please just join, get involved, and participate in conferences like this. I do, and most of you who have been before know that we like to make it interactive, and I don't let people sit and hide, which is coming up soon. But there is a poll. We want your opinion. We want this to be interactive. So the aim would be to get everybody here to at least say hi in the chat. Let us know if you have any questions following today. Please put it in the chat. But there's a poll, and we want your opinion. So please, we are, like I said, with the Global School Alliance, the whole point is sharing, to share best practice, to see what other people are doing, to get some ideas. So one of our terms and conditions of having a bronze award from our awards program is to share with each other. So what I'd like to know, for those of you who are here, how many of you do actually share with us? Do even just a comment or like other people's things? How much involved are you? So Hannah's going to start the poll, and the question is, how much do you share? Do you share everything you do? Do you share most of it? Do you rarely share? You know you should do, but you're not. So let's see if we can get some responses, guys. If you could, Hannah, are you okay to open the poll? And yep, I can't see the answers. Yeah, it's live now, guys. So please do share your opinion, please. Give you a few minutes to answer that. I'm sure there's lots of different questions, responses I could have thought of as well as those 4. Could do, I can't, don't know how to. How do I do it? Might have been one of them. Wonderful. Are we all having a go? Hopefully you're participating and most people answered that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hannah, are you able to maybe give us the results, as I say, because I'm sharing, I can't actually see the results of that poll.
So we've got 9% say all of it, 22% say most of it, 22% say only rarely, and 47% say I should do.
Oh dear, far too many say that you should, but you don't. So there's no excuses. Now you know you should be sharing, do it, okay? So like I say, it is free to join and be part of the community. Have a voice out there. We have these conferences every month. We have an awards program to get involved in, to be recognized. We're doing more training. We have a student council where you can get your pupils involved and give them a voice, get them connecting with peers and doing projects with the student council. Like I said, we have an awards program. We want to recognize you for what you're doing with your international aspects. We want to also provide that framework and to support you to get these awards. The whole aim is that we want you to be our gold accredited schools. Bronze level is raising awareness of the community. Very easy to get, and I think the majority of people here will be bronze already, so apply for it. All you need is an international coordinator. You need to have a bit of a plan of action, have it a bit embedded in the school, and do assemblies, international days, drop-down days for different cultural festivals, just raising awareness about global aspects of the whole community. The silver level is our online inclusive level, where you get students actively participating in projects with peers around the world. We can find you a virtual partner. We can use our platform to set you up in a partnership. You can use that for communicating, collaborating. It's similar to the e-twinning, but we want our students actively participating to achieve that silver level. And our gold award, the gold accreditation, is obviously all the below, and including back to travel again, having a long-term relationship between two schools that enables a visit, enables you to go and spend time with peers in each other's schools to learn about each other's culture face to face. And we all know you can't beat travel for widening horizons, for developmental aspects of everything to do with students. International travel is not only culturally enriching, it's also personally enriching and personal development and confidence. If you can travel around the world, of course you can go, you can do your exams, you can cope with meeting people in the street. So again, it's all developmental, and we're here to support you to become gold accredited schools. For the UK schools, we obviously try and signpost funding to make things accessible. There is the Turing scheme is open, and the Turing scheme for UK schools is a DFE scheme to replace Erasmus when we unfortunately left Europe. It is funding for UK schools outwards, I'm afraid. It's a one-way system, but it is funding for you to be able to go and visit partner schools. We can help you apply for this. Find partners if you haven't got it, help you organise the trip. So if you want to know more about the Turing scheme, give us a shout and we can support you with that. The window's open now, closes on the 6th of April. So if you're going to do it, let us know as soon as possible. And again, back to today, we want to hear from you. This is an interactive webinar, not just me talking, which I am very good at. I know I never shut up, but we want you to engage. Use the chat function, even just say hello. Let us know where you are, whereabouts in the world you're joining us from today. If you have any questions that you want to ask our speakers, who've got some amazing stuff to share with you, put them in the chat too, and we'll try and get back to them for you. Again, share with each other, use hashtags, share what's going on now, share what you're doing in the future. Social media is a fantastic way to connect now. That's one of the good things that I think has developed with technology. I'm not very good at technology, but the fact that it connects us and enables these connections is a good one. So please do interact and get involved. And like I said, I'm going to ask you another question now. Make sure you're involved. Obviously, today's is about it's about language and culture. So basically, how much does your school provide cultural activities to support your language learning? A lot of schools say, okay, we're delivering Spanish, and the teacher delivers it in the classroom, and that is it. So how much support does your school provide you with other cultural activities to support your language learning? 3 answers, nice and simple. Yes, no, not as much as I'd like. So Hannah, are we okay to open this poll? Because I'd love to hear some people about this question.
Yep, it's open now.
Wonderful. So guys, share with us. It's nice to know again around the world, because I think each different education system that we're all involved in has different attitudes towards this, different levels of support to be able to do this. So this is again helping us learn about each other. What system, what country is more open to cultural activities or even language learning? So please do share the poll. We all had a chance to at least select one of the answers. Hannah, are you okay to give us some responses?
Yep, so we've got 65% say yes, 6% say no, and 29% say not as much as I'd like.
That's still it's a good percentage that obviously appreciate that cultural activities support language learning. Thank you everybody for contributing. And this is the bit where I make you all participate. I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see who has got the camera on and who hasn't. This is your chance now to put your camera on. You don't have to keep it on. Brush your hair, practice your smiles. We're going to take some pictures. So everybody, you've got 2 or 3 minutes now to put your cameras on, and I will name and shame if I can see your cameras are not on. You don't have to keep it on, but put something on. Okay, I might accept a picture, a logo, but I'd rather your face. We want to see, and the speakers here as well, want to see who they're talking to. Don't hide. Come on, we've still got some people not without the cameras on. 2 more minutes, and then we're going to take some screenshots. Hannah, you okay to start? Name. I don't want to see anyone with just a name. So 1 or 2 there. Okay, 2 minutes, and as usual, because I'm talking, my photograph's going to have my mouth open and my eyes closed, as always. Okay, 2 minutes, everyone. Nice smiles. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Wonderful. Okay, well done. Let's carry on with the exciting bit of today. Okay, you've done the embarrassing bit. Let's get on with our amazing speakers. John is going to introduce them, and we have got Bushra, Anna, Isa, and Sylvia all lined up. And over to you, John.
Great. Thanks, Tony. And hello to our wonderful community of educators. The Global School Alliance is very proud, very delighted to work with the most important people in the world. And again, a huge thanks for all your commitment. At the Alliance, we always talk about the great conversation of humankind, what connects us, how important it is to connect and communicate. And that's what today's all about, the power of language and its role in cultural understanding. We're delighted to be joined by 4 inspirational practitioners who really share our commitment to the importance of languages and culture. From the United Arab Emirates, hello Bushra Afreen. Bushra is the head of academics at the Cloud British Private School, a global schools advocate and teach SDGs ambassador, and promotes them widely through all her teaching and learning. Bushra is a very progressive educator and also undertakes research in educational pedagogy and technology. So you're very welcome, Bushra. From the UK, from the West Midlands and Coventry, hello to Anna Granger. Anna is an MFL teacher of 25 years experience in primary and secondary schools and with adult learners. A great commitment to stressing the wide and shared value of cultural understanding in the teaching and learning of languages. Anna was key to establishing the award-winning and incredibly important Coventry City of Languages initiative that many of you will be aware of, when Coventry was the UK City of Culture in 2021. And Anna and many of her colleagues made that incredibly important connection with languages and culture at the heart of all the work going on there. And it very much reflects the over 120 languages spoken across Coventry. So again, great to have you, Anna. And across to Turkey, and it's hello to Ace Edogan Geza. Hello, Ace, an educator for 18 years and representing Turkey for the high-profile Climate Action Project and the Sustainable Development Goals Project, both very high-profile there. Ace also supports the important Philosophy for Children initiative and participates in a wide range of international conferences and projects. Always integrating aspects of cultural understanding across her work as a teacher in her school in Turkey. Hello, Ace, you're very welcome. And last but certainly not least, across to the UK, and hello, Sylvia Basto. Sylvia is the German subject leader at Urquhart Wood Academy in Telford in Shropshire and a specialist leader in education for MFL. Sylvia is also a GCSE examiner and a research lead and a fellow of the Chartered College of Teaching. We're particularly pleased to have Sylvia with us as a greatly appreciated council member at the Association for Language Learning, a really wonderful organisation. And Sylvia is also authored German sentence builders books and a number of blogs. So again, fantastic to have you with us, Sylvia. So 4 wonderful practitioners, 4 wonderful educators who really share our commitment to that profound importance of sharing best practice. So without further ado, it's hello, Bushra, and over to you.
Stop sharing.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah. Thank you so much, John, for the lovely introduction, and I'm looking forward. Just give me a second. I'll be sharing my screen. Yeah. Is it visible?
It's good. Thanks.
Yes.
So
A very good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good wishes actually to one and all who have joined over here to spend some valuable time with us to understand the power of languages on cultural understanding. So the introduction is already done. So I would like to go ahead with what is language and how it impacts culture. And what is like the link between language and culture, how important language is to shape the culture and to shape the identity of a person who is living in that particular area where for years together the community comes in and then the culture is shaped of that particular society or that particular area. Now as you can see, it's a crucial means of communication. Language is nothing but it's a crucial means of communication. It is the mode with which the person understands what you're about to say, what you're about to convey, the message. And it not just acts as a means of communication, but it also reflects the facts, observations. Like since long, history tells us if you understand the language, you will be able to perceive what is actually required to understand. For example, if I take an example of Egyptian pyramids, there is a language that is written in the pyramids. You need to decipher that language to understand what exactly the people of that era wanted to convey to the generations coming forward, or in their present era, what they actually wanted to convey the meaning or talk to each other. So we understand different cultures through language. It is the mode of communication or the mean of communication, like we say. So there is a very important symbolic aspect of culture. This language is actually a very important and symbolic aspect of culture. It promotes thinking, the thought processes that go on into your mind, the way you present it, it is through a language. And if it is not understandable by a person, obviously you need to think of something to make people understand, to let others perceive your thoughts, your ideas, so that you can apply. And that way it builds the culture of the society. It acts like a collector of culture. And like next we go on to the relationship between language and culture. You can very easily see it defines culture is actually defining the language, and then language shapes the culture. So that means they both are interlinked. They both are dependent on each other. It's a symbol of cultural and personal identity, of course. And like cultural groups have different worldviews based on their own cultures, shared experiences. Like we are all living in different parts of the world. We know the society that we live in, but we can only convey our thoughts, our perspectives. There is an exchange, or sorry, cultural exchange, only when we are able to convey how exactly we are living in that particular area or in that particular society. So for example, I'll just let you know, I've been teaching in an Indian CBSE curriculum. The language of communication, their mother tongue is different. And since we are in an English medium school, we have had to speak in English only. But I changed my job and I came to another emirate in UAE, where I got to meet Arab people over there, and their main language is obviously Arabic. So to understand that language, I had to, start developing that way of communication with simple words. Their culture is totally different from that of the culture of the other part of the world. Coming from Southern Asia to that of Middle East, there was a huge difference. And I could actually feel that cultural shift, their approach, their way of understanding, their way of working, their lifestyle. They have a unique identity, like everyone has that. But to understand what actually and they are trying to convey, or how their lifestyle is, you need to understand from their perspective. So obviously you have to learn that language, and not necessarily that you keep learning that language and only then you will understand. No, it's all about the exchange that you have it with them on a day-to-day basis, that you start developing your own self, you start learning a different language, and you also start adapting and adopting to their culture, their way, and they also start following you. So that makes a unique bond between people of different countries, all of them coming together to promote education. Like we are all in educational sector. So you like this the term language plays a very crucial role, an important role in promoting education, I would say that. And also when you start learning a different language, you develop critical thinking. And in fact, all the 21st century skills are promoted because you start learning a different language. And when you do something new, your brain also has this method of adapting to accept the challenges that you're facing, and that way it promotes your way of thinking style. It promotes your what can we say, it develops your memory, to be honest. And like I said, they both are intertwined. When we interact with people in a language, we interact with their culture, and that culture actually reflects through understanding of the spoken language, or the gestures, or the way they walk and talk, and their mannerisms. You actually start becoming curious, and you want to learn their culture, so that you learn something new. And end of the day, everyone wants to explore the world, and language is the best medium with which we can actually explore the world, get connected with people around the globe, and we promote that educational projects and all that. Like I have many friends across the globe who are coming from different parts of the world. Like I said just now, we meet online, virtually only, but someday probably we will be meeting in person too. But they are speaking in a different language, they talk to their children in a different language, but when we come on a common platform, English is the medium of communication. Yet we do not hesitate to share or exchange our ideas, our thoughts, especially when it comes to promoting the sustainable development goals, where we collaborate with each other. We meet very often virtually. All the work that is being done by the students on the other side of the world with that of our country, and we learn from each other. Yani students, they initially I felt through my exchanges, yani virtual exchanges, or different projects in SDGs. So initially I felt that some of the students, they were hesitant to speak in their mother tongue, but like as educators, we are always there to support them. We instilled confidence amongst our students to speak without any inhibitions. Yani they started speaking, and that's how we built a large community of global classrooms. Now we are involved in various projects related to SDGs, global goals project is there, climate action project is there. Besides that, there are many other projects where we coordinate, we collaborate, and we never have had a problem with language as a hindrance. In fact, language acted as a connection between all the classrooms, and we could actually build that connection. We could actually spread out to far and wider parts of the world. Yani there are so many classrooms on the same platform with the same language, exchanging best practices, exchanging their culture, and the way of teaching and learning that goes on. Everything, like we never had a thought that language could actually be a hindrance. Now, how does it impact us? It actually influences our, when we speak, the language that we speak, it actually influences our cultural identities. Now, the country that I come from, it has so many languages that are being spoken with 1800 dialects, yet we are all united. Yet we end of the day, it's like we are from this country. Like, for example, I can say that I'm from India, but there are 1800 plus dialects that are being spoken in India, whereas the mother tongue is Hindi. And I have learned English because English is an international language. And that's how there is a shift between the thought processes. There is a shift, there's a mind shift, I can say, where we interact with each other. We learn about different cultures. We learn about different educators or people from around the world, their perspectives, their thoughts. End of the day, it's like we're all humans. We need to understand each other. We need to support each other. And that's how, the society is shaped, because kindness, empathy, all these things are actually required in our society at present. And language acts as one big pillar of support to build all these skills or qualities that are actually required at present in this world. Now you can see how language and culture are interlinked. It reflects the attitudes, the beliefs of a person or society as a whole, and how it is linked with the language. I mean, the culture and language, then it reflects the customs, the rituals of that country or that continent in general, with different countries, the behavior, the approach towards talking to individual in person or in group, or representing the country as a whole, the faith, the religion, the food, I mean, different cuisines. I hope everyone enjoys that. And art, drama, and music. Every country has their own, anthems. We, I'm coming from India. I know the Indian national anthem. Now I have learned the UAE national anthem also, because I've been here and I had to adapt to the lifestyle of UAE and how the people's approach is in UAE. And I started learning Arabic also, though I'm not proficient enough. No, I'm not fluent enough. But yes, I started learning the language and I started understanding, okay, this word means this word means this. The pause that we make while speaking, everything I'm learning. And that learning is actually helping me understand the culture of this region, of this society, this culture in UAE, like I said. So here there are people of different nationalities, and in fact Arabic also has different dialects. If in Egypt Arabic is spoken in that way, like for jim they say ga, then in other part of the world, for example, if I say Turkey, I'm not sure exactly, but they say the sound of G, it comes as G, whereas in Egypt it comes as Ga. So there, all these minor things, if we start learning, our curiosity builds and it promotes thinking, and our mind needs that food to think, and that's how we stay young also. And to achieve these sustainable development goals, language plays a pivotal role, because of language as a medium of communication. We connect with people across the world. We fight for a common mission to achieve Agenda 2030 through these sustainable development goals. Now, like I said, I have recently joined this school, and I was really surprised to know that nobody, or maybe 95%, 90 to 95% of the school population did not knew anything about sustainable development goals, which came as a surprise to me, because we talk about SDGs, it's everywhere, in any school, in any classroom, throughout the society. Yet there was this thing that the educators as well as the students, for them, SDGs was a surprise when I introduced this. Though I'm just taking one step at a time, I have introduced the Sustainable Development Goals, and the Take Action Global's Climate Action Project was the first project where I took only one classroom, three classrooms, that too from one of the three sections, like, and I introduced this concept. And it was surprising to know that those young children were not aware of what exactly Sustainable Development Goals were. And I had to convey to them by translating in Arabic. I mean, I took help of our Arabic department teachers, and I had to translate what exactly is this Sustainable Development Goals. And then we had the World Food Day celebrations, where the only thought that came to the children's mind and the educators' mind was to have potluck, which ironically, I had to again explain to them that why we are celebrating World Food Day is to just make them realize that look at the other part of the world, and see how people are actually starving. There is only one meal per day. That realization had to be made to those students, and then they understood, okay, this is the main reason that we are celebrating the World Food Day and how it is related to zero hunger, goal number 2. And then likewise, one by one, these goals were like just explained to them, and then I proceeded to Climate Action Project. Even then they could not understand. So on and off, I had to take help from the Arabic teachers because I had to explain to them. So that's how important language is, that it plays a crucial role to make people understand what exactly is required of them at what point. Now our children are actually getting used to these Sustainable Development Goals. Our teachers are actually taking initiative to do research, to explain, and that also requires time. That requires, of course, the spoken language. We have to adapt our languages and then make the children explain not only through speaking, but also through gestures, because there are some students who do not actually understand what the teacher is talking about in English also. So gestures along with English language, that's one of the ways of developing their English language and also making them.
Hello, Bushra.
We lost the sound.
I think we've lost her connection, haven't we?
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Bushra? Oh, what a shame. We appear to have lost Bushra's connection there.
Okay. Do we know how much more she had? She had, I think there's about 3 more slides. I'm not sure.
Hello, Bushra. We can come back if there is any issue there with reconnection, but that was fantastic, Bushra. Thank you so much. We will endeavour to come back after the next presentation. That was really fantastic. Okay, thank you, Bushra, and we very much hope we can reconnect. Okay, we go across now to Anna Granger, who many of you will know that's been doing incredible work across Coventry in the West Midlands with Coventry City of Languages. So while we endeavour to get Bushra back, over to you, Anna.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, just want to say really thank you to John, Tony and to Hannah just for inviting me here today. And it's just wonderful to have the privilege of speaking to so many like-minded educators from across the globe as well. So if I just share my screen, can you see that okay?
We can.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Oh, I think my computer's decided to go slow now as well. So give me a second. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is Coventry City of Languages. So as John said before, I'm one of the founders of Coventry City of Languages with one of my colleagues who is also a languages teacher. So I'm just going to talk about why Coventry City of Languages, how it came about, our vision, our launch, our awards, and where we're going in the future. So why Coventry City of Languages? So it all started probably about 6 years ago when I set up a modern languages hub in Coventry. If you live in the UK, you probably know that teaching languages is quite a lonely job, especially if you're in a one-person department, but also it's a subject that isn't really that high up in priority on the curriculum as well. So I was secondary trained. I taught in secondary schools for a while. I moved into adult education after that. And then when languages became compulsory in primary schools, I decided that it was my opportunity to really make a difference and to move into primary school, because I passionately believe that we have to start teaching languages from an early age, and cultural understanding, which all comes in with that as well. So we got to close, probably about 2020, and my colleague Vicky and I were really sort of worried about the impact of Brexit. It was there on the horizon, and we were worried that it was going to have a big impact on language teaching and those connections, making those connections across the globe, and the future of our subject as well, which we believe is really, really important. And again, all of that is linked in with cultural understanding. So all of those things, you lose all of those things in schools and in society, and it makes our young people so much more insular. It stops really that sort of, looking across the globe and thinking about how important it is to understand each other. So we got to lockdown in 2021, and we probably just had a little bit too much time on our hands, actually. So Vicky and I were really lamenting about the demise of language teaching and learning in schools in the UK and the lack of importance of languages. And we decided that we could either sit and moan or we could do something about it. We have over 120 different languages spoken in Coventry, as John said at the beginning. And they're just not really recognised, particularly our children in schools. We've got so many children in our schools. In my school alone, we've got over 30 different languages spoken. And children are just told that it's much more important that they learn English, and that is wrong. And as Bushra was saying in her presentation, your language is your identity, and we just think it's so important that that is recognised. So quite arrogantly, we wrote a vision for Coventry, never really expected it to go very far, but it made us feel better anyway. And we then decided, because we got to late 2020 and we were worried about the UK leaving Erasmus and how much more difficult it was going to be to make those connections with other educators and young people around the world. So we met with two of our MPs in Coventry, our members of Parliament, who were really, really supportive and listened to what we were saying. And we'd recently heard about an organisation called International Newcastle, and part of their work was entitled Newcastle City of Languages. And we actually just sort of said off the cuff to one of the MPs, we want to be Coventry City of Languages. So she just sort of said, well, call yourself that, and probably people will just think that you always have been Coventry City of Languages and won't really question it. So that really gave us the confidence to do what we did in the end. So Coventry was the city of culture for the UK in 2021, and I used to go to a lot of meetings and say, what about languages? It was all very much about music, dance, things like that, art. And I kept saying, what about languages? And I kept meeting this brick wall with people saying, but this is city of culture, not city of languages, it's city of culture, and very much not understanding that languages is a huge part of culture. We felt that they had missed something really, really, really important. And so we knew there were opportunities out there to be seized. So we just thought if we didn't try, we didn't know. We went out with a a marketing strategy really of just knocking on doors, shouting loudly, not giving up until people listen to you, because they would eventually, just to get rid of you, which really has worked for us. We always say that we're two teachers, we don't really know what we're doing, and making it up as we go along, but you know, it seems to have worked for us so far. So we got in touch with a few different stakeholders and told them about our idea, invited them along to a meeting. Didn't really think that anybody was going to turn up. We didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. And we were really, really surprised and honoured actually that we had so many people turn up to this initial meeting. And it very quickly became apparent that there were lots of people out there that shared the vision in Coventry and beyond, but nobody'd ever really thought to get everybody around a table, a virtual table at that time, and just discuss how we could work together and how we could help each other to move this project forward. So we've got 2 universities in Coventry, and they have both been incredibly supportive. They understand the importance of languages, the importance of culture. So they've been absolutely fantastic. The City Council have been great. We've had certain people in the City Council who've been amazing. The British Council, and John, when he was at the British Council, was absolutely instrumental in all the work that we've been doing. We approached local businesses as well, and the cultural institutes on top of that as well. So the Spanish Embassy, the French Institute, the Goethe Institute, and other organisations that we've discovered in Coventry as well. So our vision. So we've got 4 parts to our vision. The first one is celebrating home languages and culture as well as part of that. So as I say, we've got lots of children in our schools in Coventry who speak other languages, but the languages are just not recognised. Certainly in primary schools, they're very much used very often as young interpreters. So my year 6s might be called down to reception because we have a new starter in reception who doesn't speak English. And these children do a highly professional job, and then they're just patted on the back and sent back to class without any real recognition of the amazing job that they've just done. That certainly myself, who is British, who was born and raised in Britain, would probably have had to have done at least another year at university, got myself into debt in order to be able to do the job that they're doing at the age of 10, 11. I've heard parents, or teachers, sorry, tell parents in school that they should be speaking English to their children at home rather than their home languages, because their English isn't good enough. And that is absolutely wrong. As Bushra said before, it's their identity. That is just so wrong. And the British Academy wrote a report back in 2019 where they estimate that the UK economy loses out on £48 billion a year due to the lack of language skills in the workplace. And the children in our schools hold the key to that, to actually moving our economy forward once they're out in the workplace. Secondly, we want to improve teaching and the teaching and learning of languages in our schools and beyond. Languages helps the whole curriculum. Again, as Bushra was saying, it improves your thinking skills, it improves those neural pathways, analytical skills, cultural awareness, and on top of that as well, it actually helps your own language. So children who are learning another language in school, it will help their English. We do find that a lot of senior leaders in schools don't seem to really understand that, so we're trying to really promote that as well. Thirdly, we want to upskill primary teachers. Languages was made compulsory in primary schools almost 10 years ago now, and some schools are doing it very well, but there are still some schools that are doing very little. And again, very often it's due to the lack of skills within the school and people not really understanding what good language teaching and learning is. It's not mapped out in our curriculum. It's the only subject that's not mapped out. It's the only subject that's just been landed onto teachers and told, you work out how you're going to do it. And I completely understand teachers are worried if they don't have the experience, if they don't have the qualifications, they feel unequipped to deliver a language lesson, and therefore very often it just gets pushed out of the curriculum each week. I completely understand it, because if I'm ever asked to go and teach a maths lesson or anything, it doesn't happen very often, I go into complete meltdown. So because I'm not trained in it, I don't really know what I'm doing. And very often as well, teachers are teaching just a noun-based curriculum. So they think, you know, if they're teaching 50 fruits, that's good language teaching. Lastly, then, our fourth part of our vision is all about promoting language skills for work. So I've already said about the £48 billion a year that's lost in the UK economy. And we've seen over lockdown as well that people can work from home. They don't even have to be based in the country of the company that they're working for. And so our young people are going to be competing across the world with their peers across the world for jobs in the next few years. And who will employ monolingual British people when actually they've got the pick of young people from across the world who already speak 2, 3, 4, 5 or even more languages. And all of this as well, the vision also, we want to look at promoting cultural awareness and also breaking down barriers generally as well. So we launched officially in October 2021, and our launch was attended by over 200 people. We had lots of additional companies and organisations that supported us, as you can see from all of the pictures around the outside of our programme. We launched at Coventry University, which was fantastic. We had a marketplace. We also had some things going on in the theatre. It was actually opened by one of our members of Parliament and the Lord Mayor of Coventry. We had some performances. We had an awards ceremony where we tried to really give out awards for all aspects of language teaching and learning. So we had students who were awarded for their work, we had teachers, we had schools who were awarded, and also companies as well. And we had a great day. And these are just some of the photos, actually. So this is Zara Sultana, one of our MPs, and the Lord Mayor opening it. My children, I teach at 2 schools actually, so my children learn Spanish at school, so we actually did a performance of This Is Me in both Spanish and French with another colleague who works in another school in Coventry who teaches French, and that was amazing. And I think it's a real iconic song, This Is Me. You know, we all speak different languages, we're all different, we've all got different colour skin, but actually this is me, this is who I am. And they were amazing, they really were. We had some presentations from various organisations. So this was the Refugee and Migrant Centre in Coventry, and some of their ESOL learners, their English as a second language learners, who had been doing a project as part of City of Culture. And some of these students, they didn't sort of speak a huge amount of English, but they just had the confidence to stand up on this stage in front of all of these people and talk about their project, which was just amazing. We had a French singer who was a student, or had been a student at Coventry University, who went down a real storm as well. There is John, who presented the British Council Awards to a school at that point, and our trophies, which were waiting for their winners to be given out. And again, just some of the people that got awards, and we also did a couple of competitions with Warwick University. So they had done a poster competition to look at culture in a country of a language that was spoken within the classroom, and this was actually the winning poster. And then this was our marketplace. We had the Confucius Institute from the university who were doing activities, which was fantastic. We had a bookseller come along who sells books in different languages, a translation company, and the cultural institutes as well. So some of the projects that we have done already, we have had some support from the universities. So one of the things that we've done are some virtual visits. So during lockdown, obviously students couldn't travel abroad. So Warwick University got some of their students who were on their years abroad to actually do some virtual visits with schools in Coventry, and I was really lucky to actually benefit from one of those. We linked up with a student in Malaga in Spain, and it absolutely inspired the children. They were so interested and really promoted that culture as well of the country of one of the countries of a language that they were actually learning. We had some, there we go. We had some students at a secondary school co-authoring a book on bilingualism to really give them some, to feel that they were sort of the experts in being bilingual. And they worked with a local author as well, which was absolutely fantastic. They really enjoyed that. We had student visits into year 9 classrooms, which made a huge difference. And some of the children who would quite like to have taken Spanish at GCSE, but wanted to do something else instead, actually emailed their teacher at the end of the student visit, once the students had talked about their experiences and why languages were so important for them, and actually changed their options in year 9. So they went on and studied Spanish to GCSE level, which was fantastic. And we also had, we got in contact with a small charity who's basically trying to rekindle the links, the Twin City links with Coventry. We have 26 links with cities across the world in Coventry, but actually a lot of those links have actually sort of been put on the back burner over the last few years, and she's really trying to rekindle those links. And altogether, they really are important for enhancing cultural understanding. So last year, we actually won the Your UK Parliament Award for the Community Campaign of the Year. We wrote out our nomination, never for a second thought that the UK Parliament would be looking for a languages project. And we were very surprised, but absolutely ecstatic when we got a phone call to say we'd actually won. So Vicky, myself and our trustees went down to the Houses of Parliament in London for an award ceremony at the end of May. And again, these were just some of the photos that we took or were taken. This was our trophy here on the right, and it's brilliant because ears really prick up as soon as we say that we have won a Parliament Award. People really do sort of sit up and listen to us. So the future, what are we hoping to do in the future? So we are hoping to set up as a charity. We have realised that without funding, the whole project at the moment is really unsustainable. Vicky and I have mortgages we have to pay. At the moment, we're in the classroom, and then we're really trying to sort of do this at night in our holidays. And it's not always easy to keep the balls up in the air. So at the moment, we're battling with a bank account. We can't get charitable status without a bank account. We can't get a bank account without charitable status. So we're on that journey at the moment. But once we've got that, what we hope to do is we hope to set up a single point resource for all. So anybody who wants to know about languages in Coventry, wants to know about where to learn a language, wants to know about how to find out more about cultural understanding, can actually access one point. So hopefully a website, and there'll be lots of information on there for them. We are hoping to set up a multilingual library. There's a multilingual library already in Newcastle that we've paired up with, and they have given us a range of books at the moment in other languages, and we want to really set up a space of sanctuary as well for people who speak other languages that maybe feel that they just want a safe place to be able to bring their children to sit and read to them in their home language, but also make new friends who maybe are not going to judge them, and also might speak their language as well. And we want to put on events. We are hoping this year to put on what we're calling the Cover Vision Song Contest, which we're hoping to really sort of have close-ish to the Eurovision Song Contest for those of you that are in Europe. And really the only sort of criteria is that you have to sing in a foreign language, but hoping to really raise the profile like that. We want to do more professional development for teachers in Coventry and really help them to understand how to make those links around the world, how to embed cultural understanding in their classrooms, and also help them to teach another language if they need that support. And ultimately, we want to change education policy. So we want to have more contact with our MPs, with our politicians, and actually make them realise that languages and cultural understanding is so, so important for this country, for our young people, and we need to do more of it. And there's my cultural understanding. So, cities of languages. Newcastle was the first city of languages. We were not the first. We also know that Manchester have set themselves up as a city of languages. They seem to be really getting going at the moment, actually, and do follow them on Twitter if you haven't already. We've had conversations with some people in York and some people in Leeds as well who are interested in setting up their own city of languages. So could you be next? We'd love to speak to anybody that that is interested. I think it was Kath who put a message on the chat saying that Bradford is the next city of culture. So we'd love to be in contact with Bradford and maybe get languages recognised more in Bradford as well. So thank you for listening. And that's my Twitter can't remember what the word is, my Twitter name. So please do follow me on there. We've also got a Twitter account for Coventry Languages, and that is Cov Languages, COV Languages. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Anna, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Hugely influential. And again, a big thanks from us all, because you really have put languages as a very central part of what all of us, across cities, across everywhere, should be sharing. And going back to Tony's point at the beginning, do get involved, do share the great work that you and your colleagues are involved with. So that was really wonderful. Thank you. Bushra is back in the room, which is great, but we will continue. We'll come back to Bushra after our other speakers. So again, thank you for that, Anna. Okay, now from across to Coventry to Turkey. And a big welcome to our colleague Ace Adog Gazer, who will be telling us about the wonderful work she's been involved with. So the floor is yours, Ace. Over to you. Hello, Ace.
Can you unmute, Asa?
Hello. Hello from Turkey. I'm a classroom teacher and a project coordinator at Mali Campus College. I have been an educator for 18 years. I took part in many national and international conferences and projects. I am a philosophy major for children. We implement sustainable development goals, education curriculum in our school. I am an advocate for the Global Schools program. I am a Turkey ambassador of Climate Action and the Goals project. Hello, dear John, Tommy, and all our friends again.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, we wish God's mercy on more than 38,000 students in the earthquake disasters that took place in our country. We wish our students who were injured more than 100,000. I would like to express our gratitude to everyone who supported us during this process. Thank you very much. We are a small school in Turkey, but we believe that we have made great strides with our cooperation with different cultures and our belief in the power of language. Because we think that we can learn a lot from each other on the power and togetherness of cooperation in international education. Intercultural communication allows communities to better understand each other, and this reveals the importance of languages. There is an idiom in our Turkish. One language, one person, two language, two people. Thus, you make a contribution to yourself and open new windows. In our school, we enable our students to learn different languages and by coming together with many countries from different cultures and taking them beyond borders. In our school, mother tongue education is taught in English and Spanish. In different projects, we encourage them to learn and use the strategies of greeting, thanking, and saying goodbye to the countries we cooperate with, and we arouse curiosity for them to learn. It is important. It is important to open students' horizons by creating a curriculum with intercultural and interlingual communication. Because education is not limited to the borders of our own country and an area surrounded by four walls. We are aware of the importance of sustainable development goals for the whole world and countries, and with the international curriculum we have created for 3 years. We are trying to both recognize cultures and raise awareness about SDGs. Taking into account the cultures of societies with STEM education for SDGs. We aim to create an education world that can produce positive solutions to global problems by coming together with students from all countries who can think critically, and empathically. And we are happy to see the progress of our students. And our school has a strong commitment to the sustainable development goals. Teachers, students, and all staff do not use plastic cups. And disposable plastics, our students use water flags. We must show with our actions that we stand behind what we say. We use completely recycled materials when creating products in STEM education for SDGs. Our curriculum about SDGs use at every level from kindergarten and high school. Children who are faced with a problem, solution, think, feel, take action, come together with children from different countries and find positive solutions to global problems. Here too, we can see the importance of culture and language. We participated in many national and international platforms by being invited. We raised awareness for many schools and students by explaining our STEM curriculum for the international SDGs we implement in our school. The high level of environmental awareness of our students attracts the attention of many institutions and organizations and arouses curiosity. The conversation of our foreign minister and our students attracted a lot of attention and aroused admiration. We received invitations from many national channels and gave information on the cultural interaction between countries that we practice in our school. With the climate action and the goals project, we have created great awareness in schools and students in our country. Where we can see different cultures and languages coming together and moving towards a common goal. Sending my love to my dear Jan and Fan. At our school, we attach importance to the philosophy education model for children. I am also a philosophy education specialist for children. At the beginning of each semester, I give this training to all our teachers with a seminar. We include it as a P4C course in our curriculum, which we created by developing together and interacting different cultures. We enable students, we develop many skills such as critical thinking, creative thinking, looking at events from different angles, and respecting different ideas. We care about promoting our natural cultural values and promoting different cultures. For example, Mustafa Pasha, a historical Greek village in the Ürgüp districts of Nevşehir, which you can see in the photos, is also known as Sinassos. The village was also awarded by the United Nations World Tourism Organization. It fascinates those who see it with its cultural richness, magnificent stone structures, and naturalness. This place is a cultural value. Here we did STEM training for SDGs with our students. We both recognized a cultural value and created a positive solution to a global problems there. We introduced to our projects partners throughout languages. Getting to know cultures in different languages with the training projects, we aim to increase our cultural diversity by approaching each other with respect and love. Our awards for our work on intercultural communication and diversity of languages, School of Excellence, European quality level e-twinning, Eco School, Sustainable Development Goals for Children in India, Global Sustainable Awards for School Awards in India, and awards winning Global School Bronze, Global School Alliance. Thank you very much. I would like to show you a short video from the project we carried out with cultural and linguistic diversity in our project work.
Well done.
Thank you. The solidarity of cultures and languages is very important for the future of our children. Individuals who know different cultures and shape the future and communication with these cultures will progress through education. It's easier to raise strong children than to man troubled adults. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ace. That was wonderful. And again, we all love e-twinning. It's a really great way to bring together so many amazing projects, amazing partners as well. So that was really wonderful. And thanks for your own inspirational commitment to languages and particularly the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, from Turkey, we're back to the UK, and it's a big thank you to Sylvia Bastow. Sylvia does amazing work for the Association of Language Learning to really promote the key value of languages. So it's over to you, Sylvia.
Okay, let me just see whether I can share my screen. All right. Are you able to see my screen now?
We can, yes, thank you.
Let me just see whether I can. Right. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much to Tony, John, and Hannah for inviting me to come and talk to you this evening. What I would like to share with you today is really the journey I had as a subject leader for MFL in the UK. Myself being Slovakian, so coming from very different backgrounds, you know, in terms of language learning, language teaching, and the experience that I had as a child, you know, growing up and learning other languages, you know, being a polyglot, and then coming to UK and, you know, having a very different experience in sense of attitudes to languages in the UK, especially when we look at the comprehensive, you know, high schools as opposed to the grammar school or the selective schools. it was a bit of an eye-opener. So it was a little bit of different experience. So what struggles do we really face as teachers on MFL in the UK? And I think Anna already touched up on this, you know, that languages are not necessarily on, you know, on the top of the agenda, you know, for many schools, because of it's often being seen as a difficult subject to achieve results, and we're facing the problems with falling numbers, you know, at GCSE, at A levels, you know, falling numbers of graduates taking languages, you know, and even, you know, secondary and primary school teachers really who are specializing in languages. I would like to share a little bit of background of my academy. You know, my school is part of the Academy Trust. As I said, we are a comprehensive high school with many of our students really coming from a disadvantaged background. We have got higher than national average of students who are free school meals, students who are pupil premium. We have quite a high proportion of SEND students as well, for the ones who are familiar with the UK educational system. You know, with many of our students not really seeing a great value in language learning, because many of them cannot imagine actually going abroad or actually, you know, doing anything in terms of, you know, job-wise with languages. And many of them see language learning something like separate to the cultural experience. So it's really trying to get our students to understand that learning a language, not just about learning to speak it or communicate, but also being aware of different cultures, different ways of lives, different worlds outside, you know, of UK really, and outside of their own environment. So for us, you know, as teachers, as educators within our Academy Trust and our school, really, it's trying to make this more obvious to our students. You know, looking at my school, and the other day, I think it was last week, I actually counted, we have currently in my school 22 different languages spoken. So we've got students from lots of different communities. We have students who are Polish, who are Hungarian, who have, you know, Lithuanian, Latvian background. We've got students who have Romanian background, got lots of Pakistani students, you know, Punjabi or Hindu. You know, really, really great experience, you know, and lots of different, lots of diversity. But, you know, many of our students really don't connect this together necessarily. So, you know, when we even talk about, for example, the GCSE, you know, and we talk about the cultural capital, and we have some of these situations with our speaking, for example, you know, some of our students never have left, you know, the town they live in. You know, many of them never been on an aeroplane. Many of them have never been on a skiing holidays. You know, it's something which is not necessarily achievable for them, or, you know, the family background is not allowing it. So why learning a language and having this cultural understanding is so important. You know, you know, for us, it's really to make sure for our students to understand that, yes, we have got all different maybe backgrounds, different roots, different values, but we are still connected together as human beings, as already, you know, Arfin, you know, mentioned. So I think for our students, to understand why we're learning languages is not just about being able to speak and communicate, but also being aware of this cultural diversity that we have, you know, amongst us. So what do we do in our school in order to bring the culture and the experience to our students? You know, one of the biggest motivators for language learning and, you know, for fostering this motivation and, you know, love of languages, but also the self-belief and self-efficacy in our students is really trying to bring the countries of the languages that we speak to school. We run community days. So we have, you know, when we bring the community together and we have parents of our students coming and maybe bringing some of their dishes to our school. We do always in summer on Saturday where we have, you know, parents from our Pakistani students bring, you know, the food and bakes and cakes into the school. We ran trips. I mean, for my school, main language that we speak and teach is German. And for many of my students, you know, when we talk about German or Germany, many of them have just the experience of the Second World War, and that's what they see in terms of what Germany is like. So running trips like you see on the slide, you know, we do year 8 residential trip to Trier, which is 5-day residential trip in June. It's a big eye opener for our young students, and it's really great in terms of motivating to learn language even for future, for GCSE and maybe, you know, beyond GCSE, you know, seeing it as a way to broaden their horizons and also giving them the chance of possibly, you know, having success at work with language as well. When we go to trip, we also have a partner school, which our students often prior to actually going on a trip write to, you know, as email. So we go and visit the school. It's a grammar school in Trier, and it brings the language alive. It makes it more purposeful. You know, it's learning the language for real, because they can then practice it, they can try it. When we were first time to visit our school, you know, our students were quite amazed, because in Germany, students don't wear shoes in school, so they have slippers. So when we remembering going to the classroom and watching a lesson, they were quite amazed that they saw actually these shoes outside of the classroom, and the students were in slippers. It's something you don't do in UK. You know, you walk around with shoes. So they were like, wow, you know, is this for real? And I said, yes, it is, because, you know, me coming from Slovakia, it was very similar in my school. We did not walk around in shoes. We had, you know, we had to change. So that was a big experience for them, you know, being aware of that the school day is shorter, that they have actually lunch, and the lunch is cooked, and they can choose lots of different dishes they can have, and they go home, that they don't have to wear uniform, for example, that it's much more relaxed. All of these things were quite you know, big eye openers for them, because we mention it when we teach our language, we mention and talk about the school system, but actually experiencing it and seeing it, it's another way, and it's very different to, you know, just hearing about it. We also do in year 10 trip to Cologne, to Germany, which is 3-day trip in October, so they can experience, you know, the Christmas markets. Again, different experience. We do actually 2 trips. One is into Birmingham as well, because not all of our students can afford foreign trips, and this is one of the problems that we are facing. You know, even though we think UK is a very developed, you know, economically strong country, there are so many families, you know, who can actually not afford the trips because they're quite expensive, you know. And in the past, we have did fundraising, you know, packing bags in Morrison's for students to raise some money towards the trip so they can afford it. So, you know, we do one into Birmingham, which is cheaper, so they can try different foods and, you know, different experiences in terms of ordering food in German, because there are obviously German sellers as well, but also the opportunity to go to Cologne and see one of the Christmas markets in Cologne is a massive big experience for our students. And it's such a great motivation in terms of, you know, language learning. We do cross-curricular trip with the history department to Berlin as well in year 10. So we always join forces with the history team and do again 3-day to Berlin, where students can experience again the language, you know, so speaking the language for a purpose in real life scenarios, but also obviously learning about the history of the country, because it's very connected, closely connected to the GCSE history as well. We've done in the past trips to Barcelona, Spain. So again, you know, language, cultural awareness, cross curriculum. Okay, we used to run it in February, and that was open to across year 8s to year 10s. It's quite difficult for us to do trips for year 11s because of the GCSE commitments, you know, and exams, and school doesn't really necessarily want to release them, you know, on the trips unless it's in the holidays. So we have to fight that battle. And as I said, in year 7, we do the German Christmas market trip to Birmingham. School offers lots of other trips as well, which are not necessarily language related, but they are related maybe to geography or other cultural awareness trips. So the purpose of the trip is trying to make the language purposeful, you know, understanding that, you know, you're not learning the language just to sit in a classroom, you know, you two lessons a week. Because at GCSE we have 2 lessons a week, 4 lessons a fortnight. GCSE's got 5 lessons a fortnight, which is not really great amount of practicing. So taking them to the country, experience the culture, experience what the cities look like, what the people look like, what they wear, you know, they're not that different to us, but it's still, you know, something that's for some of our students is first time they've been away on a foreign trip. So there are some pictures from the trip. I'm sorry, I can't show pictures of students because of the GDPR, you know, in UK. Oh, sorry, we had that. There is an interview, which we had done for press release after our Christmas market trip for the local radio. So I'm quite happy to share the slides and people can listen to it. I think it's about 8 minutes, so I don't want to play it all through. What other things we do? As I mentioned, we do pen pal exchanges. So we've done emails in the past. We've got a partner school in Trier for the year 8s, so they write to their friends. Some of them still going. Actually, I just had recently a student contacted me who she's doing a degree at the university in Wales. So she's still in contact with her pen pal she actually met when we went on that trip. So the friendships are still strong, quite motivated. We've got another exchange with year 7s in a school in Dresden, again in Germany. So students again writing to each other. That's been set up, I think, just shortly before the lockdown, I think. And then obviously they've done also some Christmas cards to each other and some competitions. We also done a pen pal exchange to a school in Japan, which was by our so we have got contacts with Fujitsu, and they set up obviously this exchange with the Japanese school in Nagoya. So we got some pictures in there. Obviously, there are some students, you can see just the backs of their heads when they actually receive the picture, the letters, and reading them, and the experience, the excitement of receiving a letter and an email from a friend from far away. It was quite exciting for them. We also do European Day of Languages, or Languages Day as we call it, because obviously we're celebrating all other languages as well, not just the European languages. What we have done in the past, we have tried, because we have so many different community languages within the school, we try to do every year a different language. So we had, we had Pakistan, we had Spain, we had Italy, we had Poland, we had Hungary. So we try to obviously bring the culture of our students into the school life as well, because often, when we have students from different backgrounds, they don't necessarily want to speak their language. They often feel that they have to speak English in the school, and I think they should be should be entitled really to speak their home language in a school as well, because it's it's something to be celebrated. I get upset when I have students who come from abroad, and let's say their names are not easy to pronounce, and they start anglicizing their names. Our name is our identity. You wanna make the effort to learn how to pronounce their names. So I get really quite frustrated with that when I have students and they say, "Oh, Miss, don't worry, you don't have to, don't worry about how pronouncing my name. You can call me this." And I said, "Well, no, I'm not going to call it this, because that's not your name. Tell me how to pronounce your name, and I will make the effort to learn and say it properly, because that's who you are. That's what you've been most of your life." So having the opportunity to celebrate, the community that we have in our school, again, makes the languages more accessible to our students, but also more purposeful, because I think often, students, my English students, with a UK background, sometimes they just don't see the point of learning the language, because English is so central across the globe, and many people do speak English. That sometimes they don't really see the point of why do I need to learn another language? Because when I go somewhere, people will speak English, and it's just having this understanding of not just the language, but also the culture, the different way of life. But also when you try to speak somebody's language, people see you more open-minded, more as a global citizen, rather than, well, you speak my language, I'm not going to try. People are much friendlier, let's put it that way. So when we do Languages Day, we always try some traditional cuisines. So often we have students who bring some dishes from their home, whether it's cake or whether it is, something savory. The canteen puts up traditional dishes from the country, maybe a little bit limited, 3 or 4 to try off. We have big cross-curricular events as well. So we celebrated in art, for example, the artists of the country, in music, again, the composers. We look at sports, which would be maybe the dominant ones in the country of the languages celebrating in that year as well. We also do some project in terms of competitions. So we have students to bring and bake their cakes, either from their own background or any cake they want to. And then we have a big competition in terms of trying to choose the best ones, but usually everybody gets a prize. But we have to always narrow it to one or two, maybe to get something a little bit more special in a sense of prizes. We do also other competitions such as poem competitions, for example. So we've just launched recently one as well for our year 7s. And then we do also various competitions in terms of postcards, Christmas cards, or we do Easter cards, and then they are shared on Padlet, but they are also shared with our parents. So we've got our Instagram account where we put all of these things for our parents to see as well who are following us. So just trying to bring the sense of the language, but also the culture, because often students don't realize that the way we live here might not be the way people live elsewhere. The values might be slightly different. The cultural nuances might be different. You know, certain things can be offensive to other cultures, which we don't see as offensive here. So being aware of that and understanding, you know, each other, it's key, because often I say to my students, you know, there might be some kind of animosity sometimes because there are some biases about certain countries or cultures. It's because we don't understand each other, and the cultural understanding is important there to see what's polite, what's respectful, you know, and in terms of behavior as well. So really, this is in a nutshell to see what we're doing in our school. Obviously, across the trust, we do much more trips, and we also do exchanges in terms of, you know, for the older students. The biggest issue we have with these kind of things is usually the cost, because we have so many families who can't afford necessarily the trips, especially now after Brexit, after the lockdown and everything going up in terms of COVID. The prices have gone really, really quite high. And we want to really make sure that our disadvantaged students get the chance to go on the trips, because it's usually the students whose families are maybe economically better off, they can afford to take the holiday abroad, but the students who are from the disadvantaged backgrounds are often the ones who kind of miss out on these opportunities, you know, and on the relevance of language learning and the cultural, you know, awareness as well, and culture capital. So thank you very much for listening. As I said, if there is any questions or anything, you know, you would like to know, or anybody wants to collaborate with us, feel free to reach out. You know, my email address is there. I'm happy to share the slides as well. So yeah, I'm happy to, as I said, stop sharing. Happy to answer any questions.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And I'm so pleased that you emphasised the authentic way that all your young people are connecting through their language. That was really fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, we're aware that we lost our friend Bushra towards the end of her presentation, and we'd like to offer the opportunity. Bushra, are you there? Would you like to just complete your presentation?
Yes, Sean, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry that I got disconnected halfway through my presentation. So we were just here, and without even sharing the presentation, I would like to, you know, discuss about a couple of things that I missed out over there. And like, yes, we had this cultural exchange with our partner schools from Italy, Belgium, and yes, is my presentation visible?
It is, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I was somewhere here, then I lost connection. Yeah. So we had this very interesting collaboration with different schools from across the world, which was in Italy, Pakistan, of course, UAE was there, and then Romania, and all those 5 countries. We collaborated with each others to, you know, share the best practices or the actions that we have taken as part of Climate Action Project in our year 7 to 9 boys and girls. Just because they did not know anything about the Sustainable Development Goals, we introduced this concept and they took some action. We could only get a few glimpses of their actions or the work that they have done. So I could not gather much, but yes, we have started this initiative of promoting the SDGs, and we are now, we can proudly say that our school's first award is the Global School Alliance Bronze Award. that we have won. That's the first accolade I can say, because it's our new school, and that's the first initiative where I have actually shared what we have been practicing in our school. And that's how we became a bronze award winner of the Global School Alliance. Many thanks to Ms. Tony, John, and everyone involved to select our school to be one of those bronze award winning schools. Now, like my friends from the other countries, Anna, Sylvia, and Isaac, everyone has discussed that language is actually that medium of that connect with which we communicate with each other. Cultural exchange is done. And I also saw the different cuisines. Just now she was talking about different students are there from different countries, whether it is Pakistan or from any other country that is there. They come, they talk to each other, but they are very conscious that they have to speak in English language only, because they want to convey the meaning that they actually want the opposite person to understand. We perceive, we share our thoughts, we learn from each other. In fact, I would like to add on to this, that if we learn a language of the opposite person, or the or a group of people that whom you're working with, or whom you meet or interact very often, then I think that way we build that that bond with that person. We there is cultural exchange that is happening, and then the environment, the work environment, or your friendship with that person grows. You understand each other's culture, you try to empathize with those with that country or with those people. So all these things, language plays a pivotal role, I must say, in developing or building the culture of a society. That's how I would like to conclude. So this is a quote, like, since I was doing research and we were requested to be presenting over there, that's a wonderful opportunity, and many thanks once again. So I just came up with this, that it's language and culture, they are the two sides of the coin, and they have a deeper impact on each other, because obviously both are a crucial part of societal development. The more you interact with people, the more you get to know them, and the bond becomes stronger. That's how all the societies become adaptable, and everyone becomes kind. And it's like we are building our students' perceptions, then they become they are actually our future, and we are actually contributing to this world for its betterment through language and through developing and promoting culture. That's how I would like to conclude. Thank you, everyone.
That is brilliant. Thank you, Busha. That was really fantastic. And I think it pulled together that key importance of making sure young people are connecting. And
yes,
a big thank you to all our 4 fantastic presentations, to Busha, to Anna, to AC, to Sylvia. We always say you are the most important people in the world. You are ensuring that young people are communicating, are connecting, and we're very, very proud to work with you all. So over to you, Tony. We are offering the opportunity for any questions. So
that's right. I was just checking the screen to see if there were any questions. I think we had one question. I think that everyone is just saying fantastic, because everyone has been so amazing and the sharing is wonderful. The one question I did see was from Sylvia, for Sylvia, I think, from Alexandra, about where to go for funding to support disadvantaged students. I presume she means in the UK. Alexandra, did you want to ask that question, or Sylvia, would you be able to address that maybe?
Yes, I mean, to be honest with you, with the funding, it is a bit of an issue at the moment. We have done in the past a bit of fundraising, like, as I said, we did, backpacking in Morrison's and stuff for the students to get some money. But I'm working with the senior team on an idea that, we could get some money from the trust, for every year, and maybe to have as a as a spare for some of our most disadvantaged students. I know that there are some schools, you know, like my son went to a school, primary school, they had like funded, it was I think it was a church school, so the parents used to pay like £5 a year into a fund to, you know, to possibly fund something like this. So I don't know whether that would be an opportunity, but it is really something which we are at the moment with talks with our senior team, whether we could do something as an academic trust to have something for our disadvantaged students, because really, if it is a trip within the UK, you know, students get to go free, but if it's abroad, because of the cost being, you know, quite high, that wouldn't be a possibility. So we try to fundraise, you know, try to do some charity work as well, you know, that students can do some sponsored charity work to raise some money towards it. But we also launch the trips quite in advance, so it's usually a year in advance, so parents can pay in installments to try to make it a little bit more manageable as well. But yeah, it is an issue.
Thank you, Sylvia. You're right. Funding will always be an issue. And I think getting the community together to support each other, sometimes going out to local businesses to support, especially, you know, if there are businesses from other countries in your area, it might be worth contacting them to say, we would like to, you know, represent. And again, we also have places like community, you know, old people's homes and that sort of thing. Go and say, we'll come and tell you all about our trip if you'd like to contribute. It's going out to the wider community, finding out where funds are available. In the UK, the Turing scheme is aimed at disadvantaged students, and I definitely would say try for the Turing scheme if you can. It's unfortunately a DFE scheme that's not the easiest ones to access, but have a go at it. And I get its support. If we can't physically get them there, we'll get them there online. We shall definitely be sharing culture. Thank you, everybody. I'm just trying to see actually now if there are any other questions. I can't see any other specific questions. Does anyone want to raise their hand and ask if there were any questions? The floor is yours. I'll shut up for a second.
Because we are going to share the recording, everyone. So you'll have everyone's details. And do stay and complete the survey for your certificates. And do join the Global School Alliance. It's a fantastic range of support, fantastic range of resources. And do get involved with the awards. It was great to hear experience of our award process. And it really ensures that the great work you and your colleagues are doing is being celebrated. Said it before and I will say it again, you are the most important people in the world. Everything you do is having huge impact on the life chances and the experiences of young people. So it's a huge thank you from us all at the Global School Alliance. Do join us again in March for our next webinar. If you'd like to contribute, do get in contact with us as well, because it's very much about sharing the great work that you are doing in the Global School Alliance community.
Here, John, I can reiterate that. Thank you. And the more the merrier, everyone should be part of our gang, as John calls us. And thank you for joining us this evening. It's been quite long, but it's been really useful. And see you all again soon. Like I say, after we close the conference now, there will be a survey, and that will also help get your attendance certificate. So bye for now, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Sophie.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Sylvia.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.